And then later on you're gonna be like, ay, qué aburrido usted. Yeah, you make it boring. It's not the city, it's you. So appreciate when something new comes along. If anything, just go try them out. I'm not saying become a member to become a wrestler or anything, but give them a shot. You might enjoy it. So, we have some older folks calling in just for the workout. They're not going to go on to WWE or anything like that. Oh, I mentioned that already. But sponsor. But go out there, go check it out. It might be for you, just to get the workout itself. I mean, I don't know, but just give them a shot. So anyway, that's pretty much a recap of what we had last week. So there you go.
Thank you, Bojo, for that recap. And before we bring on our first guest, I wanted to talk about two things. So, the riots in LA.
Here we go.
Hey, here we go. The riots in LA.
Viva Mexico.
Yeah, okay. So let me tell you something. Very interesting in case you all didn't know this. There's such a thing as actors. Okay, I know one here in Laredo that used to get recruited by big money to go to cities and do protesting and act like they were protesters. They were paid actors.
Oh yeah.
Now let me tell you one thing. I'm not saying that some of the protesters are not
Real.
immigrants or not real or not, or maybe Mexican Americans out there trying to make a statement, even though I don't agree with the violence or anything like that.
Don't condone it.
But I will tell you that a lot of those are not. And let me tell you why I don't believe in these riots and that they're being coordinated by the Mexicans. Because people in our culture do not come together and organize like that. We don't do that.
Yeah.
We suck at that.
Yeah.
We suck at that. The black community, the white community, other cultures do much better than us in that. But in this case, I will tell you that don't believe everything you see. Really don't believe it. And just the mere fact, just look at some of the stuff. The caravans that used to come by a while back. Remember, they were coming in droves.
White tennis shoes.
Yes, they all had the white tennis shoes. They all had cell phones. All of them. They didn't have enough money to have a bus, but they could walk in white tennis shoes and cell phones. Again, just my opinion, guys. I'm not saying this is news or that I can prove it. I'm just telling you that we need to question everything we see. I'm sorry, but we live in a day and age that especially with AI, you have to question almost everything you see. You have to become a doubting Thomas. And if you don't know where that reference comes from, I feel sorry for you. But look it up, Doubting Thomas. But anyway, that's one thing. Second thing I want to talk to you, and I was telling my guest a little while ago.
I just got a question. Without creating a debate here at the table, like, what does the Mexican flag have to do with the riots?
I don't know. Well, here's another thing. So, I think I mentioned this in one of the episodes, Bojo, that President Trump, I agree with what you're doing, but don't just come after the brownies. Come after the whiteys.
Well, see, and that's the other thing. ICE wasn't doing that when this first started.
No.
They purposely escalated because they delivered cinder block pallets and bricks amongst the streets so that the rioters can get. And then there's a truck that's dispersing gas masks.
Yeah.
Brand new sealed box. Like, what's going on?
A lot of the stuff is fake.
But what I'm saying is, are the people getting offended and flying a Mexico flag? It's not against Mexico. I mean, they're trying to get rid of everybody, all the OTMs other than Mexicans.
Yeah.
And then here's the other thing. Why are you getting upset? If you're here legally, you're not going to get legal through the course of time unless you apply for the right documentation to be here legally.
Some people do. And
kudos to them.
And they make it so hard.
Yeah.
For them to get it, and then they run out of patience, whatever. But my point is this: we have a lot of illegal immigrants that look like white people. We have a lot of people from England, from Canada, from all European countries.
Them too.
Yeah, but they're not. That's the problem. They're not going after them. They're going after the brown,
the ones that look like
the easy fish in the pond.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing, and that's what makes it look wrong.
It does.
If I've yet to see an arrest of a European person. Yeah. I've yet to. They've gone after Muslims. They've gone after Asian people. They've gone after. But I've yet to see it. I mean, maybe I hope they have.
And I agree with what you're saying. But what gets to me as a Mexican is bro, I mean, I was born in the U.S., but that's my ethnicity that I claim, and I'm proud of it. What does waving a Mexico flag and a bunch of folks that are acting like ridiculous, like idiots, to say the better word, what is waving a Mexican flag? If anything, it makes us look worse.
It does.
So I'm all for, stand your ground. You're being, you're boldly standing where nobody else is doing, but let it be a cause.
No.
What is a cause? You're defending illegal aliens. I'm going to use that word because immigrants is people that come in to work, that do it legally, do it right with their permits or permanently. That's an immigrant. You're here illegally, you're an alien. What is the difference between somebody who's here illegally and, they're minding their business, they work, they have a family, versus somebody that's here illegally and is selling drugs? What is the difference?
Well,
We're both here illegally.
The law's
It's a civil thing, I got it.
And I get it, humanitarian wise, I understand their stress. They have families.
But all I'm saying is, put the flags away. It's only making us look bad. It's making us look worse. Like okay, so this is a Mexican culture. We are going to go out there like barbarians. No, folks, there's ways of handling stuff. That's all I'm saying. Don't fall for the rug. Don't go down that rabbit hole because then you're going to look back like you're going to get captured and stuff like this, and it's going to hurt your future. All I'm saying is think about it. There's a way to handle things.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm nobody to say anything because I'm not out there because it's not. I don't think that's my cause, And even if it was, I would be a whole lot more smarter going around about it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because, like you said, you and I and Fred, we're not in their shoes.
Yeah.
We don't understand the desperation, but a criminality, there's no excuse. Acting a fool is no excuse.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Hurting law enforcement.
It doesn't
no
condone
excuse.
you doing that.
No. Those poor men and women are just they're doing the job. That's all they are. They're following orders. They're being soldiers.
And then the cops are trying to leave the area because first they want them to leave. Get out of here, man. They're throwing bricks. So then they're trying to retreat and get out and, go do what they have to do. And they don't let them out.
Yeah.
So what do they do?
No, they're just being animals. That's all they're being.
And that's what gets to me.
Anyway, all right. Well, like I said, that's about the extent of the political arena we're going to jump into.
Absolutely.
But I mean, it had to be said only because it is, like Bojo said, it's embarrassing to see this. That are supposedly our people, which I don't believe it's all our people.
And it's not even saying all of our people out there. Yeah, there's some Hispanics or Latinos. I call them Mexicans. That's what we are. I mean, there's some of us out there, but the majority, there's every other ethnicity out there.
Yeah,
they don't even speak the language. One reporter tried to walk through and he's like, no, I don't speak the language. No English.
No.
Well, okay.
See.
No, it was.
So what are you doing down here, sir?
See. But anyway, whatever. Okay, so
coffee and donuts.
Let's get off that. Let's get off that one. So the second thing I want to talk to you guys about is this. So, I've been in law enforcement since 1981. I was 20 years old when I joined. I left PD 30 years later, and right now I'm still in law enforcement. And I'm taking right now. I just came from a 2-day course, and I drove all the way to the metropolis of Rio Grande City. And DPS teaches a class called Active Shooter Alert Level 1. And it has to do with scenarios, has to do with learning how to protect yourself against a bunch of things. I can't say too much, but I will tell you this. I've taught active shooter courses before to private entities, churches and schools and stuff. And my opening statement to any group is always this. In any active shooter incident, somebody's gonna die. Somebody's gonna die, whether it's an innocent civilian, whether it's an innocent cop, and I say that because the cop hasn't done anything to those bad guys, and definitely the bad guy. That bad guy will, 99% chance will get killed. Okay, either by his own hand, 100%, either by his own hand or by a police officer, or multiple. So anyway, so I always say, look, somebody in this room, somebody in that situation is gonna die. So usually you get that.
I was gonna go, Judah, what? Never mind. You have to watch that movie.
Really, I'm trying to get into something. Jesus, it's
hey.
like dealing with.
Dude, this is our podcast. I'm being serious here.
So when I say that, the room gets quiet, and then I say, but let's make sure it's not you.
When you kind of roll those gasoline,
Well, that's because I can't see them. So anyway, so today the love of my profession was reborn because I saw a bunch of guys that are still willing to do it, to be running around out there, going through scenarios, getting shot at with simulations, and sometimes going through embarrassing situations because you do something dumb. But it's good to do it in training, right? They say, oh no, that's what training's there for. So you can make your mistakes there. You don't make them out in the field.
But lead in training, madam.
Exactly. But the thing is that the reality is that more than likely that those first 2 or 3 guys going through that door are gonna get taken out. And we voluntarily raise our hands to do that. You know,
it's so tough now. And these guys are willing to do all this, and then people, there's opposition from the civilians, bro. Like they're trying to take care of you. They're willing to give their lives for you, and here you are putting up resistance against it.
Yeah.
Why?
That's another one.
That I'll never understand.
And then let me flip that coin. So, not all cops are good. Not all cops are worthy of. Yeah. Not all cops are worthy of wearing a uniform. You have a lot of fat cops, and I hate to say that, they can't even tie their shoes. They have no business in law enforcement.
Wow.
You have a lot of older cops that cannot function anymore. They have no business. So it's a reality.
Both of those characters are liability.
Yep. If you're gonna be a police officer, you have to be in shape. And I'm not saying be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Dude, it's like how my folks in the restaurant. If you want to be a wrestler, you got to look like a wrestler.
Exactly. So,
same thing with the cops.
But same here, because your life and other people's lives are on the line.
Yeah.
And if you are so
Facts.
obese that you cannot, if you fall, you can't even get up. You're no good to anybody. You're a liability now.
Yeah.
So I'm all for hiding weight standards in the law enforcement field, but they have to conform to the ethnicity of that cop. Let me see, and you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Army, in my opinion, my height and weight is based on not me as a Hispanic. It's based on Anglo-Saxon males and females, not me.
Yeah.
Because my body type is different than theirs.
Yeah, we have our brothers Samoans, dude. Those guys.
Yeah, those guys are naturally just beasts.
You just cannot
And
put
how
them on
can-
the same
yeah.
range. And the poor kids are there starving themselves, and because they can't meet regs. Like, dude, you're like 6'2", like 3 times my size, and you're always gonna be that.
Yep. I had in basic training. I had a friend of mine, black soldier. You should have seen this guy. His waist was like that small. His back he was nothing but muscle, lean muscle.
How long did you date him?
Huh?
How long did you date him?
I dated him for 2 weeks.
Oh, there you go.
But anyway, so the thing is this, that he could not meet the height and weight standard.
Never will.
And he never will.
And never will. He could be a sergeant major.
Yep.
And just not gonna
And again, maybe they used it as ways to control the non-whites so they won't promote. I don't understand. I don't know. I'm just talking out loud. I'm just telling you that I don't agree with those. They have to be according to ethnicity. Yeah. So, but anyway, again, thank God I'm out of the Army already. Shit.
Yeah, we're glad you're out.
We're anyway.
We're so glad.
So, all right. Enough talking bullshit. So, our first guest for today is someone that the community, a lot of people know. This guy's all over the place, including, every time I turn on the TV, especially on the weekends, there's always a special on something.
He's in your cereal.
Yeah, well, he
It's in the cereal box.
So, again, when I say his name and when you see who I'm talking about, you can say, "Oh yeah." You may not know his name, but I'm sure you've heard his voice. He's done radio, he does TV, he does.
Oh yeah, that is true. He has a history in radio too.
He has a lot of stuff having to do with media stuff. So I'll let him talk about what he does, and again, the whole process of the program, the whole premise of the program, is to. I don't want to wait until people die for us to say, "Well, David was awesome."
He tried to do something.
Yeah, we want to tell him now that we appreciate what he does, and that his life's work up until now hasn't gone unnoticed. See, because a lot of people live their whole life.
Oh, yeah.
You're doing great things, and nobody gives a shit. Nobody even says thank you
Who are you?
for your talent. Thank you for what you've done, good and bad. Because
Yes.
we're not all perfect, but what I'm saying is that we wanna make sure that somebody tells you that you guys are doing a great job.
And promote what he's doing.
Yeah, and promote it.
Get other people to join.
Like the 10 things he's doing right now. So, anyway, David Cash Vasquez, thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for taking time out of your day. I'm gonna go to your camera. Give me a second. I'll tell you when to start looking pretty and smiling. Okay. Hold on. You ready? Okay, you're on now. Anyway, so David, thank you so much. Like I said, before we start with the conversation, tell us, introduce yourself, man. I mean, like I said, a lot of people know who you are, but a lot of people don't. So talk to us.
Yeah, I was actually I was making a post for social media
Oh, nice.
while you're introducing
See,
me.
you're a media freak. That's
I'm
what
a
you do.
media freak, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So David Cash Vasquez, man, I'm a lifelong Laredoan. I've lived here for the most part most of my life. I did during the pandemic and during around 2019, headed up north to DFW, lived in DFW for a little bit. Got a chance to really understand culture, and you guys were talking about culture a little bit a while ago, and I think that's something that we rarely get to experience outside of our own culture here in Laredo. And so but before we even get into all of that and what I do, I've been in marketing for a long time, man. I mean, over 20 years. I started off in radio, and radio's always been a passion of mine. It's something that I've always wanted to do. Since I was a kid, I wanted to own my own radio station.
And you have like 5 now? 5 radio stations?
One, but yeah, I to say that if I'm not connected in some way, shape, or form to the radio stations that exist currently in Laredo, it would be, that would be a lie, because I feel like no matter what personalities are on radio, today, or whatever companies own them, whether it's radio or TV, locally I've been able to work with them and build partnerships and relationships with these folks, whether they're in the sales side of things, on the sales side of advertising, or they're on the air, so to speak. I've been able to sort of be in that arena for a long time. Even on when you talk about entertainment side, I've been on that side of the coin as well, right? Putting on events and festivals and all sorts of things, And TJ, the one thing that I was just realizing, as you were talking, you used to be on a billboard.
Yeah. You remember that?
You used to be on a billboard, and one of the most famous billboards. Anybody that can kind of remember that, there was a billboard with, and this is surreal, man, because I used to make music, and one of my covers on my CDs that I made was that billboard. It's that very billboard.
Wow. Small world, huh?
Yeah, and
So you're saying you owe him royalty?
I think that's where he's going.
but yeah, it's to have you here and see you sort of in the flesh, and now it's all coming back to me. But I remember that billboard. You drive into Laredo, it said "Welcome to Laredo," right? And it was 3 mariachis.
Yep.
And you were one of the mariachis on that billboard.
I was an idiot in the middle.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call you an idiot, but
Because you don't know me. Give me an hour.
Next podcast we'll show you.
I will say that billboard was up for.
That's a good while.
It was up there for a long time, and anybody that remembers driving back into Laredo, whether you were coming from, Santo, wherever you were coming from, but when you would drive in, it was.
They're trying to keep out the bad element.
Yeah. It was just unmistakable, man, and really a statement of what Laredo and Laredo's culture is all about, right? So kind of cool to see you here in the flesh, and
thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. I didn't.
You know what? Do that post for him.
I'm not gonna do the post.
There you go.
But no. The thing is that some people remember. I remember when I used to be assigned to the Drug Enforcement Administration when I was with PD during that time.
Yeah.
And the guys would come in. These agents are like, "TJ, is that you?" And I would always say, "No, that's not me. That's not me."
That's my evil twin brother.
Yeah, that was because I didn't want to. These are white guys, and what are they going to care that I'm mariachi, right? But no, after a while, they started trying to find, and they figured it out, and so a lot of people. But I didn't think of anybody this after all these years would remember. That's pretty cool. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. We were trying to forget.
So Talk to us about your radio experience. Where you started. Well, first of all, let me ask you. Can we ask everybody? Where did you go to school? High school.
I graduated from Nixon High School.
Thank you.
1998.
You can't play it.
I
today,
can't
right?
play it.
19 what?
1998.
10 years after I did. I was 88. You were 89.
89.
You were
82.
72. Where did you
Oh.
go? 82.
I was barely being born.
You
Ready to
were,
go. Ready
you
to
were
go.
the fastest swimmer.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome,
and-
dude. Wow. Okay, now that's why
But you know, I think what's really cool about our generation is the fact that we lived in a time where there was no internet.
Yep.
We lived in a time where there was no technology, right? Technology for us was, if you were lucky, and technology was a TV.
Yeah.
If you were lucky,
A radio.
right?
with that little thing to
Cassette player.
Yeah. No, if si tenías cable, like if you had cable, you were like well off. Like a lot of people
My
thought you
parents
were,
were making it.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you were doing it. Like that was the house to
The
go
brown
to.
box, the brown box with the little shuffle.
Yeah, Paragon cable or whatever. Yeah, the little brown box, with, you know. And for those of us, remember
Oh,
the
yeah.
dial, right? We had to switch
MTV,
the
Channel
dial.
7, you had to.
Yeah, or you would have to tune in,
Right.
right? So, I
Rabbit
think
ears.
that's something that we, growing up in that time, like that's something that we will never, this new generation will never get to
They'll
experience, right? Even if you think about it, music,
Yeah.
right? Like music is something that was really a different vibe back then. If you remember New Music Tuesdays, right? Sam Goody, Musicland, right? If
House
you,
music.
yeah, if you wanted to get, you
The
were
latest.
waiting for the new album to drop and you had to wait till Tuesday. And then it would be like this whole process, right? You'd have to stand in line so it wouldn't sell out if it was a really popular artist, right? And then if you were lucky, you got a copy. If not, you were gonna have to wait till the following week or copy it or
Yeah.
whatever.
Duplicate it.
Duplicate it, right? That's where real music piracy started.
You guys,
actually.
you guys remember how they used to sell cassettes?
Yeah.
In the wall, like you had like
Oh, yeah.
the Clash, and there was like the Clash. Like they were stacked in white little skeleton things,
Yeah.
and then
So you couldn't steal
and then
them.
the main one was on top. So you would look at like, oh, they're out. Like,
Yeah.
damn it, like I got there late. Like, I just thought that was so cool the way it would sell them. Like,
Yeah.
it was a whole process. It wasn't just like
imagine now when the way you get music now.
yeah, that's
Think about
that's
it.
ridiculous.
You don't even get that feeling anymore.
Yeah.
Taking off the plastic,
You just think
opening it up, reading the credits. Like, oh man, I didn't know
It was
so and
a
so was the producer.
It was an event. It was an event.
Reading the lyrics.
Yeah.
It was a whole,
Yes.
it was a
The
whole
lyrics.
process. It was a whole
I
process.
remember. Wow, the lyrics.
Yeah, you're like, are you serious? I always thought he would say this, and then like, no, it says happy birthday something. Like what? Like,
Music was a thing, man. It was a whole experience.
It was.
It really was, right? And I think that's what we've kind of lost in this, that the
The
experience
build
part.
up, yeah, the ramp up to actually getting
It's-
it or
yeah.
doing it.
Because now there's so much music coming out now because now technology's made it easy for anybody to put anything on Spotify and Apple Music. That's why I feel like
It lost
that's
its-
what happened with radio,
Yeah.
right? Radio is still a very powerful tool because the one thing about radio that you will never take away from radio is that it's always going to be free.
Yep.
It's always going to be free.
Yep.
And it's that one medium that you don't necessarily need any kind of special technology to get, right? Like you can literally get a radio station as soon as you get into a car, like you can just
Yep.
tune in, right? And then there's nothing like that experience of listening to radio. I just don't think that that's as special as it was for us
It's
because
not transmitted that the same way. I still listen to AM radio. If you go into my truck right now, it's on AM
Yeah.
because I love the sound of AM.
Yeah.
It's like it's that frequency. It just that frequency. It's a whole different. AM is different than FM.
Yeah.
That frequency totally relaxes me. It helps me with my PTSD, and I've done a little study on that as well. And AM carries a whole because it's such an old frequency. FM, they keep messing with it, digital, and all this other stuff that they know that they're different frequencies, and people's bodies react to it differently. But that's a whole different podcast. But what I'm saying, like, I just love the way music sounds. AM, my vinyls, it just captures that moment. Even cassettes, just like, You feel that it's just, it like you said, it's not there anymore. I mean, nowadays you pretty much just think of a song and it's there for you at your fingertips. There is no more like, hey, let me call my homie, let's go to the mall, or let's go to Kmart back then and let's go get
That was another thing. That now you said the mall. I mean, again, just to get to the mall.
Oh,
to
yeah.
find a ride over there. You know, for your parents to let you stay there for a bit, meet your friends, meet your little girlfriend, your little boyfriend, whatever.
Yeah.
But it was an event. I mean, you planned it the whole week. Like Saturday was a day or Sunday morning, whatever.
Yeah.
And you know what? But the greatest thing was that you were thinking that, I was thinking that, he was thinking that. So guess what? Everybody would show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would see everybody that's during the week at school. Like, I don't want to see you till Monday. And then guess where you were?
Yeah,
Saturday
at the
or
mall.
Sunday at the
Yeah.
mall.
At the mall.
Saturdays at Molde Norte
Right.
were, I think, it was a religious experience.
Sam's
Really
Pizza.
Sal's
Music
Pizza.
band.
Shout out Don Willie.
Yeah.
Thank you for all those years of
Merry-go-round.
showing us movies without permission. That was
I
awesome.
remember I saw Beat Street or Breaking in there when it was at the theater
Nice.
also. And then I would go, what was that, Silver Coin, the arcade
Silver
right there?
Coin,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'd spend a little money there and then go to Silver Coin and then come back and it was just
It was experience.
blissful stuff.
But you know what, Dave, you're right, because these kids nowadays, man, I mean, even if you wanted to raise them up like that, I mean, there's so much new technology and every year something changes.
Well,
now the big thing with AI, I mean,
Yeah, well, the thing right now is that you've got competition for attention, right? Everybody is, and this is kind of me putting my marketing hat on, right? It's everybody's competing for attention, right? Eyeballs. That's why, you know, the never-ending scroll on social media, why they're pushing you to put content on social media, because they want to keep your attention elsewhere.
Yes,
Because
yeah.
you got this thing, right? The phone, right? It's pulling for your attention. Then you got the TV, and then you got other notifications coming through from other apps that
You
are
get
taking.
FOMO.
Right.
Fear of missing out.
Right. Gotcha.
That's a thing.
And-
That's an actual thing.
And so, you know, going outside, that used to be a thing. Sometimes, I mean, it could be a thing now, but it's not. I think that's the biggest challenge, I think, for any marketing campaign is the drive for attention, right? That they're trying to take everybody's attention away from whatever it is they're into.
Yeah. Yep.
And you know, it works for a lot of mediums. A lot of these mediums prey on that particular
Laziness.
well, not necessarily laziness. I call it dopamine.
Yeah.
Right? The new dopamine is not. It's not even drugs anymore.
No.
Right? It's not even. The new dopamine is this. Right? Instant gratification from this thing right
Let
here.
me elaborate.
Right.
The reason I say laziness is because, believe it or not, Dave, I think that our generation, my generation, is failed to get the attention of these kids. Like our parents, they pushed us, "Oh, I don't go to the mall," whatever. We had something else to do. We weren't locked into just that you go outside. Before you couldn't get us inside the house, and now you can't get them outside the house.
Yeah.
So I think that honestly, it's at some point like my generation failed because we didn't push them to go outside. We didn't push them to go socialize at the mall instead of over an apparatus.
well, but here's the thing. So a lot of people say, I'm not gonna give my child cell phone till she's 14, 15.
Yeah.
The problem with that, if you do that, they're gonna fall so far behind, and they're gonna get bullied, and they're gonna get made fun of, and whatever, because they don't. See what I'm saying? So, if you're gonna compete as a member of any organization or even at work, whatever,
You gotta be updated.
you gotta be up to
Actualized.
date. Yeah, you gotta be up to date, actualized, but not only that, the tools you have to have. Can you imagine? Do you remember anybody here remember life without a cell phone? I don't. And try to get rid of it.
I mean, I do because again, that's the benefit or the thing that we have as a generation that grew up in the 80s and the 90s.
What I'm saying, like
is-
working, like work-wise, when you started working. Like when I started working, I was 20 years old. I became a cop. I was one of the first cops with a cell phone. I thought it was all big, but I don't remember working at Pizza Hut before I became a cop. You know, and you know, I was delivering pizzas, whatever. I mean, I don't even remember how the hell I got around. I don't remember the maps.
Yeah.
I know you know how to read a map, but
Yeah.
give it to a kid right now, they have no freaking idea how to get from here to San Antonio or find an address in San Antonio. They can't.
They'll
They have
just
no idea.
the GPS
Yes.
on maps.
Yeah, but again, when the apocalypse hits, hopefully we'll be able to survive at least one day more than everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, and you'll probably do marketing too. Fucking doing some marketing shit in the middle. Everybody's dying.
I'll be selling water during the apocalypse, yeah.
With the little radiation.
You want sea monkeys or you want clear water?
Yeah.
Just a little. What's wrong with the little radiation?
But I'm just saying that honestly, like right now, let's be realistic. You put your phone down for a week. You're not gonna function. You can't.
Well, that's what it goes back to that point, right? It's dopamine, right? It's an addiction, right? So our cell phone is an addiction. You know, it's crazy. Like even in church, you know, if you're religious and you know Sundays you go to church or whatever, and there's even the older folks that are in their 60s and 70s got their phones going off.
Yeah, because now our Bible is in our phone.
Right, or right, everything's on our phone now. You know, and I feel bad for the priest because he's trying to give the sermon and then the phones are going off.
No,
And so,
here's
but
my-
even then, you're there, you're sitting down, you got it on silent. Next thing you know, you just hear the phone buzzing. Bzz,
Yes,
bzz, bzz.
because it's quiet.
What I do is I just leave my phone inside the truck
Yep.
because if
You're
not,
gonna
phone's
do.
just going to be buzzing of random crap.
Yeah,
Right,
It
and
may not
then
even be real close.
and then it becomes this mind thing where it's like, oh, like my phone's buzzing, like
It's
you know,
that
I'm
phone
looking
mode.
away.
Now
I'm
you
not-
want it to finish so you can go see your phone.
right, and so I think that's sort of what I'm talking about with this thing being that dopamine, right? It's almost like a drug. It's an addiction where we can't get away from our phones. I mean, I've given tons of seminars and conferences, and I've spoken on marketing. And the one thing I ask the crowd is, how many of you have left the house without this, right?
I feel okay.
And then feel like, oh man, like I left the house, like something's missing,
Right.
something's off. You turn right back around, go. It doesn't matter how late you are running for.
You gotta get that phone.
You gotta go back and get your phone. You can't live without your phone. And there's a lot of people running around. There, you know, there's a few people that know how to do it, but there's a lot of people running around that cannot function without a phone.
Yeah.
So true.
No.
So true.
You're right.
And so that's why the phone has become such a powerful tool for marketing.
Yeah.
Because we already know where your eyeballs are going to be at, right? And so that's to me in marketing, that's my message to everybody that may catch this is if you're trying to promote a product, a service, a mission, right? If you're mission driven, you're trying to promote something, you got to find a way to get on this, because if you can find a way to get on this and make it buzz, you just might catch an extra set of eyeballs.
That's
You
right.
know,
That's
that's my message to everybody is that's what you really have to do if you want to be effective in marketing. So and there's a bunch of steps to it, right? Like it starts with like a website, it starts with having a presence on social media, it starts with kind of getting to know this field. But yeah.
Let me put in another couple of 5 cents to the conversation, because David, it took me, when I launched off my radio station, my internet radio station, it took me about a month and a half to get everything running. Again, going back to the website, to the domain, and then getting the server for the station, and all this other stuff. And then of course there's money involved in that, so it does take a while. It does, but once you have all that established, then of course the marketing portion comes in. But
Yeah, I mean, look, you have to treat it. You have to treat your marketing as part of your business or as part of whatever it is that you're going to do. No matter what like I said, whatever you're trying to promote, whether you're a nonprofit, right? You're out, you're trying to get a mission statement out there, and you're trying to get awareness out there. You have to have a presence online. Unfortunately, most people, and there's still some people out there that do not place the importance on the internet and social media as much as I feel like they should. But that's, to everybody, it's a personal preference. But just like TJ mentioned a little while ago, you do not get involved online, or you don't take that leap, you're going to get left behind. And it's happened, and we saw this happen with the pandemic. We saw it when a lot of businesses service-based businesses that were selling stuff didn't have an e-commerce website. So you couldn't sell any of your products because everybody was in quarantine. Nobody wanted to come out. Nobody wanted to talk to each other. Nobody wanted to be around each other. But you had all this inventory in your shop. Like, how the hell were you going to do anything if you didn't have a website? So a lot of people were forced to turn to the internet. There was no other way because of all the restrictions and all the scariness that was happening.
So true.
And so I guess now more than anything is we learned so much during the pandemic that everything now, going back to what you guys' conversation was earlier, now everything becomes so polarized, right? Now we're starting to understand the power in influence, the power in media, the power in social media, the power of sort of convincing folks. Like, I don't want to call it brainwashing, but it's definitely remaining a constant theme in front of everybody. Because after a while, if you see something and you see something and you see something and you see something, and it's sort of drilling itself into your brain, you're going to believe that whatever is being told to you is the actual truth.
Yeah.
You're not even going to look at anything else
No.
outside. You're just going to believe what that is.
And that's the power of indoctrination. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're actually
That's the
right.
power of
That's what I was
indoctrination.
going to say.
Yeah, because, and that goes for anything. Idealism, religion, you name it. I mean, soldiers. I mean, what happens to us when we go in basic training?
Yeah.
They tear us down,
To
and
build
they
you.
build you back up as a fighter, as a killer. That's what they need. Religion does the same thing, except that it's based on your faith. But it does the same thing. Yeah, I don't care what religion it is. It's okay. But politics does the same thing.
Yeah.
Your own family does their own thing.
For people to go for the Cowboys.
Yeah, even the Cowboys. See it is. Now, hold on. This is our
Hey,
year.
man, come
This
on.
is our year.
This is your year.
This is our year.
Come on, man. This is our year, bro.
Thank you. And if you don't like it, with all due
Right.
respect,
No.
Oh, make me say it.
Okay, you said it with all due respect. But you know what? You're absolutely right. It's speaking of indoctrination. And also because we've evolved and it's a process. This isn't the first time it happens. It happened not to us, but it happened to our parents. It's called the television. Because remember, before our grandparents, it was radio, and then the television came in, black and white, that bulb, that tube, and then color, and all the commercials, and everybody was smoking. Because what? It was cool to have a commercial that people were smoking.
Yeah.
And then they were getting all these outrageous big bold cars because it was on TV. And then soap operas, and you had all this divorce rates went up because that happened to our parents, our generation. We got a little bit at the end, but our monster was on its way, which is the internet.
Right.
So my question is, can you imagine what's next for our grandkids?
Well, I think the challenge right now, and it's right, like it's this uncharted territory that's coming up on us. And I think more than anything, the challenge that's facing this new generation is going to be more of a health crisis
Yep.
than anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because now, if you're looking at the numbers, you're paying attention to the numbers. 1 in 31 kids between the ages of 4 and 8 those ages is now being diagnosed with autism.
Oh, okay, hold on.
That spectrum.
Let's talk about that right now. See, that's what I like smart people. YouTube.
Okay.
So here's the thing. I remember a while back it was 1 in several hundred. Now it's, I think, what's the latest?
1 out of 32.
Yeah, I heard. Well,
And then it's 1 out of 27.
okay. Anybody here wanna try to guess why? Or why do you think that's happening? It's not just one factor.
Vaccines. No,
Well, I don't think it's the vaccines, but I mean, again, it could be. But
Bad-
what do you all
bad
think?
diagnosis.
Look, the science currently at the moment, the science does not back, and there's no scientific proof that vaccines cause autism. There's no scientific proof that air cause air quality. And look, we're dealing with forget about this, all the stuff that's being told to you in the news right now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right now, the biggest threat to humanity, in my opinion, is definitely air quality, water quality, food quality,
About global warming.
and even
Yeah,
climate
that's what it
change.
is.
We're just not talking about it,
Yeah.
or we don't feel like it is. Why? Because these are invisible enemies. We cannot see them.
Right.
We cannot see the air quality unless you're like really, really like you're out there, you know, and you've got the measurements and the tools, and so
And know how to do
we
it.
don't know how air quality is impacting us. We don't know what's in the air.
It's true.
So whatever we're breathing in over time, these toxins that are being released into the atmosphere,
Chemtrails.
we don't know, right? Yeah, it could possibly be chemtrails, man. It could be, for all we know, it could be aliens, you know, mirroring themselves as a cloud and, you know, dropping acid on
It
us or
could be
whatever.
our food.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could be food. It could be these dyes that are in the food. It could be the water that we're drinking. And as many of us know, there is clearly a water issue, water quality issue, not just in Laredo, man.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
water
just at certain
quality is.
levels, but it's everywhere.
Think about it. How much of our tap are we using? And then how much we run this water through our filters? Fine, we getting filtrated water, but then we don't even know if the filters are filtering the water.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing. So I don't trust any of that stuff.
So there's a lot of factors when you start talking about what's the cause of some of these health things. It's very difficult to get behind one theory because
Oh, yeah, definitely.
you're going to have currently we have a new Secretary of Health and Human Services, right? RFK, Robert F. Kennedy, who has been
And you leave them
a
alone.
little. He's been a little dramatic in some of his approaches, and some of his statements. But the one thing that I will say is, and by no means this is not a political discussion or anything, but what I will say is that I haven't heard a discussion around food quality ever from our federal government, and I have not heard a discussion around autism ever from our federal government, and the fact that they're trying to find an answer or a cause for some of the things that we're seeing within our food supply and autism are all,
Yeah.
I think, answers that we all can get behind, right? No matter whether we're left or right, whatever. These are things that we generally want to know, because if you look at the numbers here in Laredo, I mean, I can tell you for a fact the numbers are on the rise. Our pediatric neurologist over at Gateway Community Health Center sees between 10 to 15 new cases of autism every day.
Wow.
New every day.
So you gotta think about it also, like,
Wow.
you know, like it's the
Everything.
air. It's the air, but think about it. The internet.
Well,
It's everywhere.
it could be a, but see,
our body works on frequencies.
But see, autism isn't just, it's not a psychological thing, it's a genetic thing.
And that's what I was going to say. So, what generation is the strongest at now, I guess, reading this? When did it start? When did it get stronger?
See, we
That's
don't know.
no,
See,
exactly.
we don't know if it's over time, because you could say, oh, well, it's this generation, but we don't know, because we don't know if the air quality or the water quality has gotten shittier over the last 10 years.
Or like I said,
Right.
the 4Gs, 5Gs frequencies are causing damage to your body. Maybe we won't see it right now, but it's affecting
It could
our
be.
kids who are now they're teens and they're going to be parents soon. So it's debilitated their whole.
Well, let me say this. We had autistic peers in school. Yes or no?
Yeah.
But there are few.
There were few.
Well,
There was
back
always
then, because
one.
back then the cases were 1 in
That's,
10,000.
what I'm saying. That's my point. So through time, through the development of whatever preservatives, global changes, whatever, all that to meet together was causing an increase.
It is
You said how many? 10 or what? 10 or 15 a week?
a day.
A day.
A
A
day.
day.
A day.
Holy shit, that's scary, man.
Yeah.
And
So
I feel
now-
sorry for people that are gonna have kids now.
So it's not to scare parents, right? Because we want people to, like, yeah, you know, we need families to keep growing and things like that. But the one thing is to be aware of what's currently happening in the world. Things are different, right? This is uncharted territory for everybody. Or maybe it was happening, it just wasn't as documented
Yeah,
before
exactly.
because of the technology. You know,
But now with the
we-
internet, you see everything instantly.
I can tell you're a guy that probably doesn't believe we went to the moon, right? It was staged.
I've never given it. I've
Yeah.
never given
I
it.
don't believe in it.
I saw that movie.
yeah, like where the the backdrop fell when Armstrong was on the moon.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I never really.
I honestly, without joking, I don't believe it. It was a bunch of crap.
Look,
We had to go. We had to go because there was a Cold War.
So why didn't we go back?
Exactly.
Well,
That's my
here's the
point.
thing. I do remember of a lot. of
we're wanting to
reviews
go to Mars,
about NASA because, of course, back then in the '60s they were talking about it, and I remember that.
You know what NASA stands for, right?
Yeah, but I don't know, but
NASA nada.
But they were talking about it. They were very, very strong believers. The government was back then,
Yeah.
and I'm sure
Even
still
Buzz
is.
said it himself.
Yeah.
He didn't go. But I never really gave
I
it
believe
time.
it. I do believe
Nah,
it.
no, yeah.
It's just one of those things that I find worthless.
Look, I believe more in Bigfoot and the Loch Ness monster than
And Chupacabra.
Or Chupacabra.
There you go.
Yeah, Chupacabras. But Dave, look, you're the type of guest that we need, like a whole podcast, because we can go back and forth with all these things, man. And I should have known better than to.
No, but what he's bringing is he's bringing you the current stuff that's happening right now.
And I wouldn't
It's not to
your weekly
debate
shows,
anything.
right?
yeah. So we over at Gateway Community Health Center, our mission really for everybody that may not know, but we're a clinic, we're a healthcare clinic, so we provide medical, dental, behavioral health care for the 3 counties, Zapata, Webb, and Jim Hall. Zapata, Webb, and Jim Hall counties. And it's open to everyone, no matter they have insurance, don't have insurance, they have Medicare, Medicaid. We accept everybody as a patient at Gateway. What we try to do is just promote the mission of, it started with the migrant farm worker movement in the 60s. That's where Gateway's really its roots began. In 1989, we became a 501c3, and then from there we began to grow, and currently we're developing more and more clinics. As Laredo grows, we're growing with Laredo and trying to provide healthcare across Laredo. As you know, very underserved medically, and so there's a huge marketing approach that we're taking to promote those services across the region. And so we have a show right now that's the show that we have. It runs on KGNS on Sundays, at 10 a.m. It's at 9 a.m. It's called Gateway Today. So we invite everybody to kind of check it out. We also got all the shows on YouTube. You can go back if you missed a show, go check out the shows on YouTube. Pretty informative. We just get a chance to pull doctors to the side and really ask them for their advice. And then we also talk about medications. We have a really kick-ass pharmacist. His name is Dr. Cesar Banuelos. Really, really at the forefront when it comes to research on medications. Super sharp and talks about all different types of drugs, like GLP-1s, like the semaglutides, the GLP-1s. These are injectables, right, that are known as the Ozempics and diabetic drugs, right? Because that's another thing. I mean, we can keep talking.
That's what I'm saying. So this is what I'm gonna ask you this, Dave. We need to bring you back, and probably spend the whole podcast. I'm serious, because we can. I love the fact that you have so much knowledge, and we really could do this for a very long time. I think we're gonna have to dedicate a show to the medical, to what because I mean.
We haven't even touched what
we haven't even touched.
No.
Well, because it's full.
We start talking about the moon landing.
Yeah. You brought that up. But you know what? So anyway, Dave, I'm serious. We're gonna have to.
We'll do it again, man. Don't worry about it. That's what we're here for.
We have to, because you people need to hear. People need to hear what you have to say, and not so much because you invented anything. It's not that. It's just that you're in the know. People need to hear what the status of Laredo and where we are and where we're going. Being underserved with medical facilities and doctors that don't want to be here for whatever reason. God bless the ones that are here trying to help us out, because we are very underserved. But anyway, I'm definitely we'll get together. We need to do this in
absolutely, man.
lengthier.
Thank you guys for your service, and then I thank you all for having me on the program and just allowing me to come on and talk marketing and talk healthcare, and exciting times, man. Like at the same time, people need to get excited. This is the greatest time in human
It
history.
is.
We've never had the type of advancements in technology that we're having and that we're seeing today. So people need to get excited at the same time, man. Like, I get it. There's problems, there's issues, but don't let that dominate your day, man.
Yeah.
You gotta win the day, man. You get up in the morning. If this shit's messing with your head and it's really bringing you down, because that's what. Remember, media was made to do that. Media is made to keep your attention on here. It's the fear factor. Keep watching, keep watching, keep watching. The world's burning. War of the Worlds. Orson Welles, right? It's a philosophy and a psychology that's been used in media and marketing since the dawn of the radio.
Since before probably doing the caveman.
Yeah, fear, right? It's used to this day. A lot of people don't realize, man, get off this thing, walk outside, and just be grateful that you're alive. You know, the sun.
absolutely.
You know,
That's
walk,
what I
you know,
say.
that's what I'm saying. Like
I like-
gratitude will
for gratitude,
I mean, change your life.
Yeah. From attitude to gratitude.
Absolutely.
That's what we should.
So Mike Garza from Whisper says, "Saludos TJ and Cash."
Hey, shout out Mike.
And then, of course, he was talking shit to me right now about my shirt. About my shirt. He's so proud of his grandpa quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, freaking Aaron Rodgers. Who cares?
He's got a new contract, so we'll see.
For a year. Like I said, it doesn't matter. This year, not only is the Steelers going to have a shitty year, Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. You heard it here.
Yeah, they're gonna go.
True blue.
They're gonna go as an audience member.
Whatever.
As a spectator.
Blue.
Dave, again, thank you. Sorry, we're gonna have to kind of. I mean, I don't want to do it. I'm telling you, but this is gonna be good, man. We're gonna have to reserve a whole freaking show just for the cash. It's gonna be cash. Turner and Cash.
Man. Thanks.
It's gonna be awesome. So thank you so much for your time. All right, real quick before we go, let me talk to you real quick about our sponsors. Silvera Martinez, attorney at law. Of course, Mike Whispers, the best little secret in Laredo when it comes to bars. The Mariachi Mix, the Waterway Protection Services, Eric Wake and Wake's Pizza. Thank you for the pizza there. You bought it twice in 13 weeks, you cheap bastard. Mariachi Mezcal de Tejas, Casa de Cats, Tejano Express Radio, thank you for your support. And of course, Star in the Blitz 100.1. Always doing
Shout
great
out
things.
Star.
Shout out to Star. A lot of people love you, Star. We appreciate it. We're going to take a short break, do what we do with the guest, and then we'll be right back.
That was good, dude.
Dude, it was not bad. It's going to be awesome.
Good. Hey, guys. Sorry, I was fitting into your time.
No.
Yeah.
Hi, man. How you doing?
Thank you so much for
Talking about Atchison. So he's just going to go there. Our base there is there.
without further ado,
Without further ado, ma'am, please introduce yourself. Let them know who you are and what you do.
Yes, my name's Guadalupe Quintanilla, and known by Lupita or Lu, and I'm a realtor also, and I write music and I
She had
cook.
to plug it in. I'm a realtor.
I am a jack of all trades. I do everything. I like contracting. I do everything. So besides that, I write music, and I used to write poems when I was young. My mother passed away when I was 12, and I started writing poems.
As a
I
form
didn't
of
start then. I started younger. Well, I just kept writing and writing. I got married. I've been married 56 years, and I moved away. I lived in Mexico, and then I lived in San Antonio. So my music, my poems stayed behind in my father's house. Passed away, and I don't know what happened to her. But whenever I remember, I started. During the pandemic, you couldn't find anybody to help you take music lessons or anything like that. And, I used to play the flute when I was young. I had an incident which I don't talk about, but I forgot everything about music. And I just kept writing. And during the pandemic, one person started helping me, Mr. Garcia. And he started helping me with my voice because I have you can hear me, I sound kind of hoarse. So I've always wanted to sing, and Mr. Vargas is helping me do that. Not professionally, but at least he helps me to practice. So anyway, my songs, this other gentleman helped me with converting my poems that I could remember into songs. And he taught me how to structure them and everything about music, about doing it, not reading it, but just, setting it up. And that's how I learned. So I wrote a lot of songs. I have a knack for writing anything I want. I don't watch television. I never did as a child either. But during the pandemic, my husband, that's all he did, watch television. So I sat with him, and if I saw soap opera or some theme in there caught my, and I would just start writing. I wrote a song for Laredo that I absolutely love, and I wrote it in 15 minutes. And I'm not a professional, so I don't even try to go professional anywhere, but my songs are all registered. I have like 14 songs all registered. I'd like for you to see them though.
Yes, of course.
I like to hear the blues.
The Laredo song
Can
is that.
sing a couple of bars?
I don't know about
I
singing.
can't sing that,
No.
but I can play it for you.
Yeah. But how have you promoted that song? I mean, I
I
would love
haven't.
to.
As a matter of fact, I don't.
That's how I want
Is it recorded anywhere?
Yeah.
Yes, well, they're all registered in copyright, and they're all, I have
Has it ever been used anywhere though?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I was trying to see if I could.
Yeah, that's what we need to.
We can get it.
Not,
we can
not,
get
not
them.
for this. I'm just saying that.
Yes, I understand.
Put it together and promote it.
I have the songs all on my phone. And anyway, Dodie Foster, I don't know if you know her, she's with the Chamber of Commerce, She heard it, she goes like, take it to the Washington birthday, whatever.
Yeah.
Because all I speak about is how we live in Laredo. Like, my husband is from Mexico, he lived in Laredo. All my friends were from Laredo, and they all married my friends from Laredo, Texas. And we've all grown together, and I think Laredo is the best place to live in the world.
It is.
It
It
is.
is.
I second it.
Yeah.
Trust me.
I mean, our kids play in the streets, they still do,
Right.
no matter what's going on. And you cross the border and it's a different story. But Laredo, Texas, I feel so safe.
It
You
is.
go out at night, you go to dinner, you go, the waiters were in school with us. We talked to everybody, like, and people could come from Mexico and tell us, or from anywhere, they go like, everybody. They go like, it's a small town, and we knew everybody.
Yeah.
We knew everybody. So you can't say, oh, I'm a rich person or I'm a poor person. Everybody's the same. Everybody knows everything about you. So you can't hide. You
Absolutely.
can't hide or.
And you're not wrong in saying, you take it from somebody who's seen the world 9 times and all, just working there, just Laredo is the best.
Laredo is the best thing.
You don't appreciate it until you don't have it.
Exactly.
And people say, no, it's Laredo and all this kind of stuff. But to me, when I come home after traveling, I experience that freedom. Like, I don't know why my Laredo is so open. compared to all these other areas where they're so, I don't know, it's just, it's intoxicating. You'll tolerate the location, whatever continent you want to call it. You'll tolerate the location for a little bit, but after a while, you want to come home
You wanna come home?
because you miss the liberties or the pleasures or whatever you want to call it, the benefits of living in Laredo. And I guess, when you've been in your box, in your comfort zone all this time and you haven't experienced that, like TJ said last time, the farthest you've gone is to Austin, I challenge you, get to see the world. Do go and see it so that you can appreciate where you are, where you live, and where you come from. And it just, I could have, been anywhere else, but I decided to stay in Laredo. It's mi Laredo. And I've done God's given me opportunities here. It's given everywhere, but more here. So why would I trade it? And it's like you said, the culture, the clash, everything. It's just nobody. There's border towns. Yes, there's border towns all around South Texas, but none. Not because the industry or the biggest inland port or whatever, Laredo. There's just a certain charm to Laredo that none of the other border towns carry. They don't. They're similar, but they're different at the same time. I can't explain it. It's just a little.
That's the way I feel too.
Yeah. So.
And it's the only city, I think we're in the Guinness Book or something, somewhere very famous, that it's the only city that celebrates George Washington's birthday.
Oh, it is.
I say that on my song too.
Yeah.
And the hermandad, the brotherhood.
El abrazo and all that.
Abrazo, and it hurts me what's going on right now because of all the immigration things, and I hope it ends very
It
soon.
will.
I hope so.
Because all the peace we have here, we're all the same. But we're unique, like you say, we're unique because you go to San Antonio, it's very different. People don't want to speak Spanish.
Right.
They don't understand that the more languages you speak,
Yeah.
the more open you have.
Absolutely. And
I've traveled all over the world practically,
Yeah.
and
So you
I
share
come
what I
back
see.
to Laredo. As a matter of fact, that song I wrote for Laredo, my husband went back into the house and he says, "Let me go to the restaurant." I go like, "Oh, if it was me, you would be upset." And he goes like, "Only 10 minutes." So in those 10 minutes, I waited in the garage. So by the time we got to the outside gate, I told him, "Listen to this and see what you think." And he goes like, "When did you write that?" I said, "Right now." And he goes like, "Oh my God."
But you said you're carrying it in your phone right now?
Yes,
The
I have
song?
my phone.
And it has lyrics on it and everything?
It's got the whole song, yes. As a matter of fact,
It's
that
just
one,
the lyrics, it's
is that the one you interpreted?
No,
That Mr.
But you have the
did it-
music for it also,
He
right?
did it with
Yeah.
mariachi.
That's the mariachi.
Can you play a little bit for us?
Yes.
You don't mind?
You put it close to the mic.
Yeah, just hold it up to the mic.
Hopefully the people can hear.
I have all of them here, so it's good. I have like 15 of them on YouTube and
If you don't have it, that's fine. We'll save it for some other time.
Right.
But
Is it on YouTube?
Turn left on Cypress Drive. Then turn left on
Yes.
Rosie
that's wait a minute.
That's a weird song.
Wait a minute. I wrote that song.
En mi buen Laredo, en mucha paz nos encontramos. Deslaves incendios, terremotos y tormentas, a veces el mundo entero nunca olvidamos. Solo buenos tragos de aguaceros y solo cuando más necesitamos.
like
Muy
it.
bien, muy bien.
¿Quién la estaba cantando?
Hermanos vecinos,
¿Quién?
que por un río grande los separa.
How did it? No, that's really good. That's really good. Is that you singing? No, well, it's just, I recognize that voice anywhere. No, that's either. So that should be presented to the city.
This is a,
All right, we got it. So we can continue talking because we're gonna cut this short. But look, you need to promote that with the city. I mean, they gotta pick it up. It's unique. It's mariachi. It's from Laredoan. I mean, ¿qué más quieren? Right?
And it mentions everything.
I mean,
For the majority.
and if you see the video, it's super, I don't have the video with me, but the video, it shows people when we're together and, you know, it's very.
you're trying to capture the essence of Laredo, and I'm sure you did. I'm just saying that you need somebody in the city. I don't know. Talk to your councilman, whoever it is, wherever you live, and maybe they can support you. I mean, I'm serious. That's the way to get in there.
But if the Chamber of Commerce also
Yeah, they
recommends
can
you to
also-
send it to, do it.
Well, I sent it to Mike Conchas when Mike Conchas was there,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and actually he's a friend of mine, and he didn't do anything about
It's because that's what I'm trying to tell you.
I'm
Look,
not pushy, I guess.
or
I
you
just don't
need
know
to
where
push
go.
it. Let me tell you why.
Follow up. We'll do some
Yeah.
follow up.
As a
And it's not
matter of fact-
pushy. You're offering something very important.
Very
Nobody
nice.
else can offer it but you. And if you don't do it, it's gonna die with you. So let's push it.
I understand.
You know, now I'm excited about this.
I'm not, I don't feel like I'm a professional, but all my songs are super good. Jay Perez in San Antonio heard it, and he asked me to send him something, and actually I did send him
Wow.
something, but it goes through somebody else.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
always.
I never got a
Unfortunately,
feedback,
yeah.
and that's it. But I know him personally, and you know, I know the way people. I mean, I've had Di Blasio in my home,
Really?
playing,
Wow.
and I've had Marco Antonio Muniz and all that, but they're not doing another.
It's a different level. Okay, but can you imagine how many people like you are offering their songs to these people? It's hard to get through all that noise. I mean, it's a lot of it has to do with luck.
You gotta-
It's not talent.
You gotta stay
It's
behind
luck.
it.
Yeah,
Stay
but
behind
you
it.
gotta also push. You gotta also push. So you know what? I'm gonna talk to Ruben Gutierrez. I don't know who's your councilman. Do you know? Okay, so let's find out, and we'll talk offline because
Yeah.
I'm interested in pushing for that.
Also, Mr. Vargas has been helping me with my voice, which I just pick a song that I like, and I love rancheras. And I think I'm good at rancheras. because I don't
What's your style? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just love rancheras. I feel like I give it all, you know, and the other ones are very flimsy. But he's helping me with that, and I love it. And one of another lady that he helps too, she took one of my songs to the Tejano Music Board, and they were like, I don't know, 100 something, but I think she got it up to 18, and you know, she didn't win, but she got it up there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's another one I wrote for Tuyo a Ratos, and let's get these songs. I was telling Mr. Vargas that I was embarrassed to get, I mean, I don't like interviews, I've never been to interviews, I'm kind of shy away from people. I love to do parties, I love to entertain, I love to cook for them and cater, but don't talk to me. That doesn't make sense, but it,
A woman that doesn't want to be talked to.
I know.
I'm a
So that's-
woman.
Where
that-
have you been?
You're
You got
not
the
gonna believe
curve.
this, but I don't like shopping. I love snoring, and I love to travel.
I like it.
One
I like it.
expensive one.
I like
But
it.
Mr. Vargas really helps me so much because he me echa muchas porras. And
Yeah.
He says, you're doing great. And I hear myself and I go, I don't like the way I hear myself, but my
Look,
voice is like a
yeah,
None of us.
None of us.
Let me ask you this. What's this? Do you like the way you sound? Honestly, no.
I wrote
None of us do.
Oh.
None of us do. So it's okay. You know why? Because it keeps you humble and it keeps you working to true development and true progress. But once you think you've done it, that's when you start screwing up.
Yep.
Right.
And that goes for anything. I don't care what it is. Once you think
And
you're
we've
right,
had some of those where
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
you're not there.
yeah, no, you're not there. So we've spoken to people that pobrecitos and they think they're there and they're not. But you know they got their support system. We all have our support system, but he will tell you if you're doing right or wrong. And if he tells you you're doing right, you're good. Trust me.
I wrote a
Because
song.
he has no qualms about telling you, you suck. I mean, not in those words, but
I understand.
he's professional.
I did a song, and I get asked would I do it to talk to somebody that knows about music. Somebody, how do you get inspired? And it's weird because nobody inspired me. Oh, and a woman just lately, as a matter of fact, I shouldn't say names. So anyway, she asked me, how many have you written for your husband? None. I just
Really?
none.
None.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying what kind of question is that?
I don't know. But
What
I
does
told
that
Mr.
matter?
Vargas, oh
Yeah.
my God, if they ask me who inspired me, I did.
I wouldn't want my wife to write a song about me.
I wrote one that says Amor Mendigo.
Sure,
Amor de
sure.
Mendigo.
Amor qué?
Amor de Mendigo.
De mendigo, okay.
And it goes really rough, and I wanted to sing that one, and he helped me to sing it.
Yeah.
And I've only sung 2 songs, and those I really felt like singing. And I don't have any reason to, like.
Well, no. First of all, and I'm glad you didn't mention names.
Yes.
First of all, those are people with small brains.
Yeah.
Who are not educated in any way, at least not in life. Maybe just because somebody has a degree doesn't mean anything. But for someone to ask you that question, I'm
That
sorry,
says a lot.
Yeah, it says a lot about that
In
person.
Spanish, we have a saying, las palabras se toman de quien viene.
So no. Look, you're gonna write what inspires you, and it's gonna come out.
Naturally.
Yeah, it's gonna come out naturally. It's gonna come out in 15 minutes. I mean, because it's in your heart.
And that's
it's
the
going
best
through your
product.
mind. So
That's
that's
the
perfect.
best product.
I imagine myself in that position when I hear something, I go, oh my God, no.
Because I'll tell you why, only you at the beginning will know what feeling to put into that song. Because when you wrote it was a feeling. Now it's like, how much kung fu am I going to put behind that to make it sound to how I wrote it? That's you, the
When
songwriter.
I hear about writers that I've heard that I like the way they sing and the way they write, but they say they sing among, they make up the song between 3, 4, 5 people.
Yeah.
I do it my own. I don't have any help in writing, and I don't like any help. And I'm perfect in Spanish and English, so.
I mean, if you write the letters and you don't know how to write the music, then we have people that write the music, and I got it. But only you, once you see it and when you hear it, it's like, no, that's not how I intended. It's just the process.
I chose the music, the instruments, everything, and my instructor back then told me that music doesn't go with violins. I go like, I want violins, I want drums, I want honks, I want this and that. And the person that interpreted all my songs practically, I don't even know him. He's from another town. During the pandemic, that's how I got him through the, online. It's not online.
There's a lot of singers in Laredo. We got some here that have come on our show as well. Maybe you might want to talk to someone to maybe they like something that you wrote.
Right.
Well, the thing was that this person worked for my previous instructor, and he would do whatever I wanted. I mean, like I told him, I don't care if it doesn't go with drums. I want honks, I want bells, I want this. And he did everything, like he read my mind and he did it. And he's a very humble person, very humble. That started playing when he was 4 years old, walked all the way out of nowhere to get the class. And he sings now with my songs. He's been singing some songs, and he goes, now he's in a big group in Monterrey. So he's wrote too, and
There you go.
but these people that have helped me throughout the pandemic have been wonderful because I'm a starter, and I think I've jumped a lot of steps.
And there's always a lot of room for improvement.
Mhm.
Always.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah, because like I said, when you think you arrive, then
Oh no, I don't.
And I know you don't. I'm just saying it out loud so that there's some people that might need to hear that they think they're it and they're not. I mean, we all have work to do. I don't care if you're Mr. Vargas that's been playing forever and it's natural talent. I don't care if you're that person. I don't care who you are. You just better always stay humble, stay true to yourself, because once you believe the hype, it's over.
You lose.
Once I met Mr. Vargas, he's stayed with me.
I'm gonna
Local, and he's still with me.
I'm gonna bounce, but Bojo, you got the helm.
Yep.
And Freddie,
Yeah.
you all stay here. Don't go anywhere. I'm the one that has to go somewhere. But Laredo, we'll talk to y'all next week. Y'all can peace.
So, what are what are you planning? Like, what's coming up for you? What are you gonna plan on doing? Or you just continue writing, or do you have somebody in mind that you want to get some new songs to try somebody else?
I've got like 30 songs that I've started. I find, like I tell you, I wasn't doing this professionally, so I wasn't dedicated to that, and I have so many things that I do. I'm a multitasker.
And let me stop you there. And my recommendation is don't do it. If you haven't done it professionally and you've gone this far, follow it up, grow it, but maybe don't just keep doing, going about your life. Because once you start something, a passion, and you turn it into a business, it kind of tends to lose the flavor. So maybe find a perfect balance that you keep doing it to where you grow it and keep doing this and you move forward with it. I just don't want you to fall into what we call into a rut that like, because you're doing it, that's all you're doing, that you lose the, your ability to keep writing. Because right now it's a gift to you, it's a God gift. You just start writing songs, which is awesome. So when you start a business, because it's something you love to do, it turns into a job, then it turns into a menagerie of, I don't want to do this anymore. Because now there are headaches, now you have payroll, now you have all this other stuff, overhead, and
I think I was misunderstood. When I say professionals, that I don't know where to go professional, like for somebody. So I feel like I write my songs and they're not, nobody sees them as important enough to.
Well, you don't know that yet.
Exactly.
And that's what TJ was saying. You need to keep pushing. Exposure. You're gonna get the exposure being here with us. Somebody's gonna hear that you have songs like gazillion, and I guarantee somebody out there is like, I just want that one song.
That's all
I
they
just
need.
want that one song that I didn't notice. So now somebody as a singer or as a group, they're looking for that one less missing ingredient to make that awesome meal. And that might be one of your songs.
One of my songs I wrote, like thinking of Alejandra Guzman, and I had a lady interpret it. The wife of that gentleman that I told you before. She interpreted and she sings exactly like Alejandra Guzman. It sounds like, or Gloria Trevi or Alejandra Guzman.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's called Sueño que te sueño. And it's talking about the dreaming, and you hear it and you think you're talking to somebody and it's all a dream.
Right.
It's really, you have to hear my songs.
So let me ask you.
I only have like 14 on YouTube and Spotify.
Okay, I was going to ask you that. Where can they find your stuff?
I have YouTube has all of them. I think Spotify you have to be renewing, and I'm not,
Good.
I'm not savvy and all these things, so
absolutely.
I haven't done it.
Right.
They are there in my last picture of my video there, but they're not. And also the videos that are on there are not professionally made. Same gentleman that did them, the humble, included his family and all that, so, and some of them. So it's not very professionally done, but the music is perfect.
But the message is there.
And
So-
the first song I wrote was for my mother. And,
So there you go. If anybody out there en Laredo o en las ciudades circunvecinas, Nuevo Laredo, si alguien está buscando una canción, Lupita tiene bastantes.
I can
So,
write when you can.
tiene todas sus canciones, las pueden encontrar en YouTube. Spotify también son las plataformas donde las puede ubicar.
Lupita Quintanilla 9.
Lupita Quintanilla 9. Lupita Quintanilla 9. Número 9, para que quiera buscar su música. Y quizás alguno de ustedes que está buscando ese último ingrediente para lanzarse, aquí está la oportunidad. Búsquenla, busquen a Lupita y créanme, van a toparse ahí con todos sus escritos ahí que tiene de canciones y pueden escoger. Tienen bastante material de donde cortar tela. Así que, thank you very
Thank you
much,
so
Lupita,
much.
for taking the time to stop by. Mr. Vargas, thank you for bringing us talent. Continue to do that. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Continue. We want to expose as much talent as we can that nobody else, as you said, says, no, nadie más le interesa. We don't know that. You know what I'm saying? But once you come on board, let's see where this goes from. All we can do is give you the time, the platform, help you out that way, and we'll let God do the rest. Que venga lo que él piensa que le toca. It's like I said, if it's go professional 1,000%, go professional 1,000. But if it's keep doing this and you're part time, it works great. So that you don't get burnt out. I don't want you to get burnt out like some other experience. I've had several businesses where I've gone from a hobby to a business, and I'm like, you know what? I don't enjoy this anymore. and I sell them because it's just you don't want to do it.
As a business, no. I just have to expose myself, like you say, and I'm not that type of person. Like, I look like I'm very social, and I am, but not.
But at a different level.
At a
I
different
understand.
level.
I'm the same way. I'm not gonna. I didn't even have any social media before this. So then they asked me to do this. That's why I say soy locutor por accidente. I'm the DJ by accident. They asked me to come in one time, and here I am. But I didn't have. I'm still learning how to operate our Facebook page and all this kind of stuff because I don't like anybody. I don't like telling anybody what I do. I'm like that. Yeah, I get that from my past job or the military and
More
stuff like
private.
that. Just
Right.
very private. I don't need social media, that kind of stuff. I don't feed off of it, and I'm a man of faith, and that doesn't drive me. God drives me. So in doing this, I've already been recognized, on the streets. I saw like, hey, Pojo, doesn't sound like anyone it's like, yeah, Big River Talk, right? I'm like, oh
Like
yeah.
face to face.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
they're hey man, you're doing a good job. A couple of other fellow veterans also, and they're like, keep doing what you're doing. So I was like, starstruck. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm nobody, But I didn't know that until now. People are starting to approach us, and I tell you the same thing. I know what you're saying. You're like me. You like to stay behind the curtain, and we'll prep everything, and we do all this stuff, and nobody knows.
You can do it with microphone, but not.
I like to do that. Like my God has taught me that. I donate. I do this. I help out here, and I never say anything. I don't. Nobody ever finds out. Like they even told me in front of, no, it's because somebody did it. Oh, really? That's good. And I walk away. That's how he made me. That's what he teaches me. But then there's times where, like in your case, shine, show your talent. Mr. Rodriguez took his time to bring you here. Let's make him proud.
Yeah.
So don't shy. I'm telling you, if you're here, it's for a reason.
He asked me to interview in a radio station or whatever. I never showed up.
Don't do that to yourself. I'm telling you, there are opportunities, whether they're good or bad. Let God make that decision. But you take them. They might be blessings that we still don't know. Don't turn away a blessing. You don't know what can happen from here. Somebody big calls you like, okay, well, let me see your repertoire. Let me see your book with the lyrics. Let me see what you have. You never know. So don't never doubt yourself. All right? You have talent. Flaunt that. There's people that think they have talent, and there they are.
Exactly. They're very sure of themselves.
Yeah,
They're very
so-
secure.
Right.
Yeah, because DJ's talked to some, and he's that they wanted to come up, and he turns them away or whatever. It just doesn't work out because of the same thing. They think they're here or above here, and no, yeah, you gotta humble yourself. But anyway, I appreciate you stopping by, Mr. Rodriguez. As always, your door's always open.
Yes.
Later on, if you want to come back to us, you know what, this is new material. Here's what I'm doing with your projects, and an update. If you want to do that, you're welcome to just let us know, and the doors are always open for you. Typically, this is filmed before a live audience, and I hope you don't get nervous with that. But right now, we don't have folks here, but it's typically for a live audience. So there's a lot of room. There's a lot of movement in the background, but at the same time, we do that to relax, make you feel at home, to where you forget what's going on. We want you to forget that you're talking to, I don't know how many folks out there right now. So I hope you had fun, and I hope this was an experience that whoever else invites you, take them up on it.
It's my first time in because Mr. Vargas, he says you have to go.
Oh,
He says,
yeah.
you don't have to do anything, just sit there.
Yeah.
And yeah, they'll ask you questions. I go back.
No.
Like I tell you, I've got like 15 songs on those sites, but I have more that I'm gonna. Well, Juan Garza was gonna help me put them up because I don't know how to do all that.
Yeah,
those things.
right.
Sure. And again,
And-
see, if God's putting people in your, that are helping you different ways, like Mr. Vargas or Mr. Garza, take advantage of them. Because I guarantee a lot of people don't get that help. And they struggle to do their stuff, so take advantage. But anyway, so I just want to again thank you both for taking the time. And again, Mr. Rodriguez, keep bringing us more talent.
Yes.
And the same token, if you have somebody else that you know that would like to get a shot, you come to us and tell us who they are, what they do. Feel free to do
Maybe
that.
when I start singing, I'll come back.
Yeah, so I mean,
I do want you to see my.
yeah, we'll take a look at that later. But Southman, you got anything before we sign off?
Well, actually, tomorrow we'll be live at Whispers tomorrow.
That's
live.
right. We got
we have
Conjunto Dreams anniversary,
Conjunto
first year anniversary.
first year anniversary, so we'll be there live. We'll be doing a live feed as well on YouTube and Facebook. So,
Great.
ladies and gentlemen, tune in and start off the weekend with us, hopefully. And again, thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, and
so
I've
much.
got the Conjunto Dreams are chiming in also, and Classic Cats there. You can catch them tonight. You're actually here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Excuse me, performing live at Cantarranas Country Club. You guys can make it out there, go check them out. It's awesome music, good talent, good time. You'll feel like you're like at the Jalapeno Festival, the way that place rolls.
That's right.
But I want to say El Laredo y de nuevo Ciudad Circunvecinas, esta es su plataforma, utilícenla de tal manera para promover, anunciar o hacernos saber de organizaciones que están ahí afuera, ahí que no conocemos y quieren su tiempo, su voz, su plataforma para hablar, expresar lo que tienen que ofrecer. Para eso estamos diseñados, y quiero agradecerles a todos que nos están sintonizando, ¿verdad? Síguenlo haciendo y vamos a seguir trayendo más material para ustedes. Ideas que quieren ver también, háganoslo saber. Aquí está el podcast, aquí está el live chat donde pueden mandar sus ideas, el Facebook también, nos encontramos ahí. Así que quiero decirle a todos muchas gracias por su sintonización y que Dios nos los bendiga mucho, y aquí nos vemos la semana que entra. Thank you, Laredo, for tuning in. As always, we're very humble that you do. Continue supporting this humble platform for all of you guys, and have yourself a great rest of your week, and God bless you guys.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.